This is the Glenn Beck Program.
One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It is not about justice. It's not about social justice. It is about equal justice. The same rules apply to everyone. You want health care? Great. Then everyone must abide by those rules, not 1,400 waivers. Everyone must abide by the laws. Everyone. President does something, I don't care if it's George Bush, Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter, Nixon, George Bush, or Barack Obama. You do it, throw their ass in jail. No one is above the law. Equal justice for all. But that's not what is being taught. It is a lie. It is, the left is very, very good at cloaking themselves. Van Jones, who is an unrepentant communist revolutionary that started an organization trying to teach people how to revolt and overthrow the United States government. That was their goal. He pined for the Soviet Union when it fell. Where is the beacon of hope? He and his people wrote, where is the beacon of hope? So here he is, a guy who stormed, which was a revolutionary movement to overthrow the United States. What they learned from that was they could not be honest. Read the report in the closing of Storm. They had to cloak themselves because there weren't enough people that wanted what they wanted. They didn't understand. You know, the people are stupid. So they had to cloak themselves. Van Jones is one of the best chameleons I've ever seen. I also have told you from the very beginning, look out. Van Jones is one of the most dangerous people in the administration. This is when he was there. He is perhaps even more dangerous because everyone diminishes his power. But just as Anthony Weiner goes to, did he go to Al Gore's Current TV? I predicted he would go to the Center for American Progress. I think he went to Al Gore's Current TV. He didn't do that?
Not yet. Olbermann apparently said something about how he kind of hinted at that it's possible.
Of course it is.
I think
of course it is.
I think Van Jones is going there. That's where I think he's ending up.
Current
TV. Yeah,
well,
new show.
Whatever. He is a wildly successful guy who is on college campuses, is revered by the left, and he should be feared by every American. The guy is a chameleon. He's gone from a communist revolutionary to a friend of George Soros's, where all of a sudden he takes off the black turtleneck and puts on a tie and starts to talk peace and Martin Luther King. Remember, a guy who writes, hey, this revolutionary thing won't work. We've got to cloak ourselves. And then starts talking about peace and Martin Luther King and justice and America and how great it is. Pines for the Soviet Union. And then says, you don't know America. America is great, and it's one nation, and we're all here in this together. It's taken a while, but the mask is starting to come off. And this is when we approach danger. I told you that they would turn on the president. The left would turn on the president. But it is exactly what Van Jones said must happen. A year and a half ago, he said it must happen. You've got to push this president into doing what he knows is right. So the left is pushing. But I believe Van Jones is you're beginning to see the real Van. I want you to listen to this audio and listen to the anger. I believe this is the first audio I have heard that is genuine Van Jones. Listen.
Well, I'm here to tell you, after a 2-year unmitigated smear campaign,
Stop.
Not just
really? Where's the smear?
Where's the smear?
Show us the lies. We have never heard. We hear this all the time.
One.
Show us one stinking lie.
One
about you, Van.
One. There was one.
Well, there was
the NAACP came and said, they said that I said that he was a convicted felon. He is not a convicted felon.
But we already corrected that.
Corrected it immediately as soon as it was pointed out. He's not. He just went to jail. He did not. He was not a convicted felon. But other than that, there is no smear campaign against him.
Absolutely
He
not.
is an unrepentant communist revolutionary, a founding member of Storm. Period. That's what it is. He is a guy who stands for cop killers. Period. That's who he is. He is a guy who said he found the solution through the green movement to get us to red. Period. He's a guy who said, I have to drop the radical pose for the radical ends. Period. Where's the smear, Van? Where's the smear? But anyway.
Against me, but against you and every value we hold. I have had all I can stand,
Here he comes.
Fox TV, and I can't stand no more. So you listen to me.
I love this, too, from the guy whose organizations have smeared and lied and boycotted against you for, 2 years now.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy, that's all he does. He smeared and lied about George W. Bush.
In the Washington Post on Friday, in the Washington Post, I was described as a creature. Not even a human, but a creature. Wait until we show you what Deepak Chopra said about Sarah Palin. He said that a cultural cleansing, not violent at first, but then it would degrade into that. A cultural cleansing like Mao's cleansing is coming with Sarah Palin. That's Deepak Chopra. These people are becoming unhinged.
You listen to me.
Here he comes.
These are our values. Don't you mess with our values.
There he is.
Don't you tell us no more we don't love our own country.
Here
You
he
don't
is.
know this country. We work in neighborhoods you won't even go into. Fighting for liberty and justice for all.
Stop.
Don't you tell us.
Fighting for liberty and justice for all.
No, they're not.
No, they're not.
And he goes on to he's about to say that how much they take care of these people, and we spit on them. They don't take care of anybody. They want us to be taxed and the government to take care of them. They're not taking care of anybody.
They want slaves.
Yep.
Slaves to a massive government. Slaves to a massive government. And if you think you're not a slave, the chains are just different. If you can't eat, can't move, can't educate without the hand of the government, I'm sorry. It is not the same kind of slavery, but it is indeed slavery. Man is to be free, not imprisoned by someone who needs that slave for power.
Who we are. Now, I'm tired of this. We stand up for folks, and we help people, and we love people. The people y'all run over, the people y'all laugh at and mistreat, we hold them and help them, and we see the effects of your cynicism and your disrespect and your hate-mongering. And it's not just immoral, it's un-American to abuse the airways and to abuse the ears of our children with your lies and your filth. We're tired of it. We are tired of it. We're sick of it.
Stop. Listen to the cheering here. Listen to the cheering. You have a guy who is tired of the filth and the lies, and you don't have a right. That's abuse to children. You hear what's happening. Hear the case that is being made, and hear the venom. Van is about to check himself before he wrecks himself.
We are a better country than you acting like. You're not America. You're not America.
Stop. His problem is that he's tired of people saying that they're not American. I've never said that. I said he's a communist revolutionary who has called for the overthrow of the American government. He's American, and he has a right to say it. I've never said that. Isn't it interesting that he's tired of people saying that he's not an American and they're not America? They don't know America, he says. What you're saying, that's not America. You're not America. Sorry. How does this? I mean, if you're a thinking person of 4, this isn't working for you, Van.
All of our children are better than how y'all act. Every one of our children act better than how y'all act.
Stop.
You're not America.
Stop just for a second. Every one of your children better than the Tea Parties? What, putting out the lawn chairs and going to the Capitol and leaving it cleaner? I'm sorry. Would you like to compare 828 to what happened in Wisconsin and how the Capitol was treated and what things were said there as opposed to 828? Would you? Because I'll take the children of 828 over the children of Wisconsin.
Quit abusing our country. Quit abusing our country.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
So I issue a personal challenge right here, right now, to my beloved brother Glenn Beck.
Oh.
No, I love him. Dr. King said never. Listen, no.
He's serious.
Dr. King said never let anybody drive you so low that you will hate him.
Stop for a second. I just want you to know, Van, I truly love you as a brother as well. I think you're so misguided. I just said my prayers this morning with some members of my team where I prayed for people like you, and you're included in this, that I hope we become a nation that can weep for you. We can actually weep for your misguided action. I love you as well, and I would hope that you would put your communist revolutionary tactics aside, because it only leads to death, as it did with Mao, as it did with Che, as it did with Stalin, as it does every single time anyone has the government try to solve things through socialism and then surround themselves with people that are full of hate, but then cloak that hate.
Those policies, and when implemented, have led to death over and over and
Every
over
time.
and
over and over again.
Over and
single
over
time.
and over again.
And
he was calling for them.
Oh, yeah, clearly. And I wish you the best, my brother. I do. And you are my brother. But we strongly disagree. And I love the fact that we live in a country where a man can call for the violent overthrow of the government and still have a right to say it. Now, I wish it didn't. It leads to trouble, and it leads to death and violence on your side. But we'll continue to stand for peace and love and one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And when you see the error of your ways, my brother, we'll have a hard laugh. You probably will have to spend some time in jail if things would go awry. But
yeah, because I like that. I know you're saying I like to have a country where you can call for the violent overthrow of the country. Can you? Are you allowed to call for the violent overthrow of the country?
Some would call that treason.
As I said, you might have to go to jail.
Yeah.
I mean,
if you would call for these things and then they would begin to happen, and you were involved, like, for instance, if he still were an open member of Storm, but he realized the error of his ways. Unfortunately, it's not the error of his ways that I would have noticed, like we shouldn't call for the violent overthrow. He believed his error of their ways was they were just open about it.
Right, the radical means...
drop the radical pose for the radical ends.
Ends, right, yeah.
So, but, I mean, if you could prove that he was involved in anything that turned into violence, yes, he would have to go to jail.
Could be some jail time.
Well,
At that point, he could be a convicted felon, but
he's not
again,
now.
he's not now. He is not now. He's a guy who's just been to jail.
I love the fact where he's preaching about how Martin Luther King was. Did that last speech sound at all hateful when he was calling 50% of the country un-American and screaming it at the top of his lungs? No, that's not hateful at all. That's
the
love.
beauty of this.
That's love.
Is that he's spewing hatred and hate mongering, and then saying, "But I do this with love. I'm just angry."
Here he is. That's the radical.
Pose, right?
Yeah, that's the dropping of the radical pose. What you heard at the beginning, that's Van.
Mm-hmm.
And what you're hearing now is, wait a minute. I've got to drop the radical pose for the radical ends. He's got to, and they're all doing it. That's why the Palestinian movement is doing the same thing. They've got to cloak themselves as a peace and justice movement.
And they have to cloak themselves as victims.
Yes.
The Palestinians are victims. The left are victims.
Right.
Van Jones is a victim.
Right. I'm no man's victim.
No.
I don't think anyone is any man's victim at this point. It is time to be men and women of your choosing. And because that's what it is. All of us have a choice to make. We all have different opportunities. We all have different skill sets. We all have different situations. And as good, God-fearing people, we help each other. Not through the government, because that always leads to oppression. I mean, Van, tell me the time when a big government led to freedom. Justice does not come from man. And it certainly doesn't come from government. Your solution to the big government oppression is to have more government. That doesn't really make sense. But again, you just have to use logic or be honest. And someday we'll all be forced to be honest. I'm trying to live my life in an honest way now, Van. You are dropping the radical pose for the radical ends. There's really not anything to talk about until you're honest and you say you want the overthrow of the government as you have in the past. The violent overthrow for a Marxist government. When you're honest, then people can have a debate. I'm pointing this out not really for Van. I'm pointing this out for you. You need to know the masks are about to come off. The world is accelerating in its pace. Be aware.